What's up, DAW Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the DAW. And in this week's episode, we have me, WyattTroy. Yay, we're all so happy. My wife, if by the time that you're watching this, my wife is pushing out a baby, and I'm there with her, and it's fantastic. So this is me speaking to you from the past about the future, which would then be your past about me having a baby, but my wife's having the baby, and I'm watching. Anyways, the reason why I'm recording this episode is there's a couple of reasons, obviously. One of which is I'm having a baby right now. My wife's having a baby. I'm being dad right now. So I recorded 2 different episodes. So this is part 1 to share with you, and so that we can release while I am being dad. And the future episodes that are coming are going to be just as normal. We're going to be having other producers, music industry experts, stuff like that. But for the next 2 episodes, you're going to get me, and I'm going to be sharing some stuff with you that I've learned, that's helped me, some tools that I have, and so on and so forth. I am going to be trying to share my screen. Is it going to work? Who knows? We'll find out. So in this week's episode, I'm going to be going over 5 tools that every music producer absolutely 100% non-negotiably, is that the way to say it? Probably needs. But before we get into that, we have a free download. We always have a free download. What's the free download this week? Let's say it's from AU5. Yes, we're going to be doing the Heat sample pack. It comes from his song Heat, and you can get the link down below, or you can go over to dawnation.net/heat. And if you like this episode, you're going to love the school bass, and we're going to talk more about that later because I have news about that. Now, with the 5 things I'm going to be sharing today, the 5 tools that every single producer needs, this is not going to be exactly the way I'm sharing it. What the heck does that mean? I'm going to be sharing categories of things that producers need. Then there are a whole bunch of options inside of that category that you can choose for your own life, for your own circumstances, what works best for you, so on and so forth. But I think these are tools that absolutely everyone needs, regardless of what type of music you make, regardless of where you're at in your career. Everyone needs which tool to pick within each category. Before we start getting into each category, we have a huge announcement. It's a gigantic announcement. It's one of the biggest announcements that we've had in a long time. The School Bass 1.5 is out. What does that mean? What is the School Bass? For those who don't know what the School Bass is, it is AU5's definitive sound design masterclass. It is where he shows you how to make an unlimited amount of sounds, rhythms, textures, basses, blasters. It's the sound design system that he has used for the last 15 plus years. He's released over 200 songs with this system. He's going to show you how to develop your own sound design system. And so what is the 1.5 update? For those that already know what the School Bass is, what does that mean? The best way that I can describe it is when we originally launched the School Bass, you can think about it like a house. We laid the foundation, we got the structure of the home all there. Like the structure of what that house was supposed to be was fantastic. It's always been there. Bam. Now the 1.5 update is like a renovation. It's like, oh, we need to update that. We need to change the color on that. Maybe we'll switch those 2 rooms around. So that's an office and that's a bedroom and so on and so forth, right? So it's a significant update while still maintaining the actual structure of the School Bass. Now, for those of you that are asking, what about the 2.0 update? When's that coming? That's still in the works. I promise that's coming. But how does that work into our little analogy of the School Bass house? That's like turning the house, adding onto the house and making it into a School Bass mansion, right? So it adds on to and enriches the original house into something bigger. We're not going to keep going down the rabbit hole with that analogy. What about property tax? And what about, sprinklers? Like, okay, just stop. You're going way too far. Chill out. So the 1.5 update, when is it available? Right freaking now, my guy. It is available right freaking now. Let's pull it up. Let's see if we can do this. This may not work. This may not work for everybody. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So all you have to do to access it, which by the way, it's a free update. You don't have to pay for it. If you have the School Bass, if you bought the School Bass, it's already there. If you go and sign up for the School Bass right now, it's already there. You don't have to pay extra for it right now at all. By the way, if you're not part of the School Bass, all you got to do is go to dawnation.net/School Bass, and you'll be able to join the School Bass there. And if you already have the School Bass, all you got to do is go to dawnation.net/ .net. So this is the dashboard. Again, I really hope you can see. Maybe you can't. I don't know if the screen recording actually worked or not. So we're just going to go ahead and come on down here to the School of Bass, and we are going to show you what's new. The main thing that's new is that we re-recorded a whole bunch of episodes. We made sure there was some feedback that the resolution of some of the screen recordings just wasn't very helpful to see. So we re-recorded a whole bunch of that. We've also added a whole bunch of subsections inside of here. So for example, Module 1, Chapter 1, bass jams. A bass jam is the entire heart. That's the foundation of the School of Bass. And so we included a whole new little sub-module in here completely dedicated to what are bass jams. How does AU5 do bass jams? Well, how do you prepare for them? What are some myths and misconceptions and things that you should avoid when doing bass jams? What do you do with them when you're done? What are some different styles of bass jams? So on and so forth. So we included that, and everything past that, all the other modules, all the other sub-modules, all the other extra lessons, the bonus material, all that kind of stuff builds off of this. So you learn your bass jams. Those are the core of AU5's sound design system. And then all the rest of everything, every other module, every other lesson builds on that. It gives you different ideas, different tactics, different strategies to do bass jams. So your bass jams can become better, so you can utilize them more, so that they can become more useful, easier to apply when you are producing. So we really, really doubled down on that. We also structured everything so lessons flow into each other. One of the pieces of feedback that we got was that it seemed like a lot of these lessons, a lot of these different strategies kind of felt sporadic. So we made it so they flow into each other so much better. We've also added not only redoing a whole bunch of content, but we've added new content, new strategies, new techniques that AU5 has developed over the last couple of years since we since we launched the School of Bass. We've also added some new sound breakdowns. So these 4 right here, he breaks down the Dolphin Laser bass in Heat, the Operator Sync bass in Dragonfly, the Rising bass in What You've Done, the Growl bass and Make You Cry. It's we have a whole new section inside of the Whip Masterclass. Originally, it was just Voidwalkers, him showing how he made Voidwalkers. Now you can get a Whip Masterclass for Paradigm that just came out on his new EP, Earthwave, with Sayuri. Is so good. We also have some extra bonuses in there, some new stuff in there. It's incredible. There's all kinds of new downloads in there. In fact, I would love to show you that. So on my end, I did things too. I recoded the entire School of Bass so that it's easier, it's faster. Also, so that there are descriptions for lessons. Austin, AU5, really wanted the ability for there to be descriptions inside of the School of Bass. So let's go ahead and just pick a lesson right here. And inside of here, you can see this little lesson overview drop-down box. So now when you come into here, it will have a description, necessary notes that has to do with the lesson. And there are links. So sometimes you can download things. In this case, these are just external links to the devices that he is using. But if there are lesson files to download, if there's an associated rack or project file or preset or anything like that, they will be in this little lesson overview, which is so wonderful. Also, there was a little bug fix. I don't know if I have time to go over all the little things that I fixed, all the little coding things here. We received feedback that sometimes the previous lesson and the next lesson button didn't work in the way it was intended. And so I went through and fixed the code and made sure they absolutely 100% work the way that they are supposed to. Also, I recoded it so that I can actually show you, the mobile and the tablet versions actually work the way that they are supposed to. There's some feedback there that sometimes on mobile, if you got down small enough to like an iPhone SE, that it did not work, that it kind of just imploded on itself. I fixed that. You can see that it works absolutely in mobile. And if we bring this up into tablet territory, it works exactly the way that it's supposed to. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's incredible. So yes, here we go. Also, we had a little bit of code in there. Let me go ahead and exit out of this. We had a little bit of code in there. So if you change your settings in here, say you want to set a specific quality, or if you want to set a specific speed, that stays with you with each video. So you don't have to reset in each video. So not only is there a huge update as far as material, and trust me when I say there is a huge update and all the material. I mean, we either recorded or re-recorded well over 100 videos, which is just what do we do with that? And they're all wonderful. They're all incredible. Super insightful. Austin, he's only just gotten better with time with teaching, and it's just awesome. But then also the actual user experience. Logging in, partaking of the course, finding your place, seeing your progress. We added a progress bar. How cool is that? A lesson overview, the download buttons, all that kind of stuff has all been updated inside of here, which is just awesome. So again, if you have not joined the School of Bass yet, you can right now. Schoolbase or dawnnation.net/schoolbase. You can check it out over there. If you have already updated, or if you are an owner of the Schoolbase, the update's already there. Go check it out. It's fantastic. And prepare yourself for 2.0. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen now and bring it back over to here. So that is the update with the Schoolbase 2 or the Schoolbase 1.5, which is super awesome. If you have any questions, you have any further feedback, we are all about that. Freaking tell us, message us, send us a huge list of your wants, your desires, things that bug you about it. We are so open to that kind of stuff. So that is the 1.5 update inside of there. I hope I have answered all the questions that has to do with the 1.5 update. I did post into the Discord, and I just want to see if there's any questions that I have missed. I have not. Okay, so I went over all of them. It is so much work that is coming to fruition with that, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's fantastic. All right, let's get to the main topic today, which is the 5 must-have tools each music producer must have. So the very first one, and I alluded to this, just a little bit when I recorded my big comeback episode with Daw Nation, but you need to have an AI assistant. Now, don't leave. I want to clarify. Oh, is Wyatt just saying, it's generic, like we just need something like a chat GPT? No, that is not what I'm saying, okay? What I am saying is that there are certain functionalities within certain AI assistants that are absolutely necessary at this time, meaning it's certain functions that something like a chat GPT can do. If you're just using chat GPT in its base form, that's fine. You can do that. What I'm talking about is much deeper than that. It's actually having an AI assistant for your music career, for your music brand, for your music business, for whatever you are trying to do, for songwriting, for anything that comes that is a core integral part of your music career. You can set this up and have an AI assistant. And what does that mean? So there are 2 ways currently that I am familiar with. They are both within ChatGPT. I'm sure it works with Grok. I'm sure it works with Gemini or Claude or whatever else is out there. But the tool that I use is ChatGPT, because you can create a custom GPT or you can create a custom project. Both of them are super powerful. Both of them do what I'm about to say. There's pros and cons with both of the 2 different strategies. You're a big boy, you're a big girl. You can figure out what works best for you. But basically, what it is, the entire concept of a custom GPT or a custom project is that. So ChatGPT has access to what's called an LLM, large language model. And so it has access to a whole bunch of data. It can go out into the internet and get data from there. Obviously it has its own internal stuff, which is really what the LLM is referring to. But it is not trained on you. So let's say that you, the music producer, you have a brand. Let's come up with a brand right now. It's a silly little brand. It's called AirPods Max. That's your brand. Congratulations, you're getting sued by Apple. Anyways, so you're gonna ride that horse till the wheels fall off, and Apple sues you. But your brand is called AirPods Max. Okay, if you went to ChatGPT right now and said, "All right, I am creating this brand called AirPods Max. It's about this, and this. I'm going to be making this type of music. These are my visuals," which all this should be absolutely figured out before you start releasing music. But you do all that. As soon as you leave that chat, all that information is gone. ChatGPT does have it has a memory where it remembers things, but it's very, very small. It will remember very small things, and it will actually replace things without you actually asking to replace it. It's crazy. So if you come back later and you say, "Hey, I'm thinking about changing my name," it'd be like, "Oh, what's your name?" And you're like, "Wait, I already told you it's AirPods Max. What the heck?" And so the way that we get around that, the way that we can create a custom GPT, so it has all of your information inside of there, all the personal little details about your brand, AirPods Max, is by creating what's called a custom GPT. Now, that is what the paid version of ChatGPT. I believe that the custom projects version is free. I'm not 100% on that. You do want to check into that. But regardless, I think it's worth buying because it becomes your AI assistant. And so you can go to a custom GPT, you can build your own custom GPT, or you can create a custom project, and you can feed it all the information that you want to, all the information that it can pull from to help that is related to what you want to do. So for example, you could go into your custom GPT or your custom project, and you can have a case study. You can say, okay, I love AU5, right? You know us, we're biased, we love AU5. And here is the style of music that he does. It includes these attributes. Here is the way he markets his music. Here is his branding. You can upload images and text files and so on and so forth into your custom GPT. Here is his story about his brand, so on and so forth. I'm very inspired by this. Not only am I giving you this about AU5, I want to do this for Seven Lions and Trivecta and Amity and Nurko and Illenium and all these different, you can feed it all of this information. You can feed all of this stuff into this custom GPT, and then you can feed it stuff about yourself with your own brand. Here's my brand. Here's what I'm going for. Here's what I'm struggling with. Here are some music business books that I don't understand the stuff inside of it, so I need you to help me. Here are some things outside of music business, but they're still very helpful business books, and you can feed it into there. You can feed it tutorials, you can feed it podcasts, you can feed it all kinds of different things into this custom GPT or this custom project. And at the end, you have a highly tailored AI assistant, AI business partner for your particular brand. So, for example, you could, let's say that you come into it and you're like, my mind is melting right now and I don't know what I should be doing next. Then that custom chat GPT can go and reference all that information that you've given it and say, well, have you finished creating a system for cover art? Have you finished creating a social media strategy? Have you finished the overarching strategy of when to release singles versus releasing EPs versus releasing albums? Have you finished the strategy of how to reach out to labels or people that you collaborate? Have you finished? So like it helps you create a roadmap of what you're supposed to do and to keep you on that trajectory. And you, of course, you can give it feedback and be like, actually, I tried what we were talking about, but I feel like it should be focusing on this other thing because of this, this, and this. And it will either push back and be like, actually, I disagree. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like this. Or it can be like, that's a fantastic idea. Let's readjust. But it's taking all of this information and it's feeding it into something that is specifically you. And it's creating your own little personal AI assistant. Now, do we at DAW Nation, do we do that? Absolutely we do. And I mentioned this back in the other episode. Ours is called Zadia. I have fed it all the information about DAW Nation. I have fed it all the things that we have tried and that have failed. I've fed it all the things that we have tried and it has succeeded. I have shared with it all of our struggles. I have shared with it all of where we want to go, our goals. I've given it all the stuff about the DAW Nation brand, what it stands for, where I want to go. I've shared with it all of the business books that I truly, truly feel like have helped DAW Nation and books that I haven't read, but I do want to read. I fed that into there. I've allowed it to, I've given it all that information and said, okay, here's all this information. What other information do you need from me? It asked me questions and then I answered them and that fed it back into the actual AI assistant. I mean, it's great now. And so now whenever I do anything, whenever I need to send out an email for like a new episode or a promo or launch or anything like that, I always consult Zadia. And I say, okay, here's the deal, blah, 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 blah. Here's this. I also feed it like, here's emails that didn't work. Here's emails that did. Can you find a common denominator there and help me understand? And Zadia helps break that down. It's fantastic. I need to record an episode. My wife is going into labor soon and we're going to have a baby. What episode should I record? Where are we right now? We are recording the 5 must-have tools for music producers. Where do you think that came from? How cool is that, right? And so I feed it what's working within the DAW, what's working with behind the DAW, what's not working, what I need to change, what should my social strategy be? How do I, I sent these emails out to these people that I want to do episodes with. 2 of them responded, 10 of them didn't. What can I do to refine that? And so on and so forth, right? Like it has become my own extremely personalized AI business partner. And it is incredible. It is incredible. And I cannot think about how someone can go forward without this, because there are going to be people that leverage this AI technology with their music career. And there are going to be people who do not. Who do you think, statistically speaking, probability speaking, who do you think is going to succeed more? Who do you think is going to most likely have the brain calories at the end of the day to push a little bit harder or to be more optimized? I mean, it's just a numbers game at that point, right? So that is the big first thing that I highly recommend for you to do. Again, you can go to whatever platform that you want, Grok, Gemini. I'm not very familiar with all the other platforms. I use Chat. I think Chat is great. You just need to be able to have an AI software that you can feed your information into, that is specific to your business, that is specific to your brand, to your music, all that kind of stuff. You feed it into there, and it can help you make calculated decisions, unbiased, calculated decisions based off your specific instances or your certain circumstances. It is just, I mean, I can't even begin to think what my day would look like if I had to go back to how it was like 3 years ago when I didn't have that. And I had to think of every single title, every single subject line, every single description, I can move so much faster now, and it's incredible. So that is the big first one that I have, some kind of AI assistant. Again, I'm teaching you principles. AI assistant. You decide what's right for you. You know, you decide which one you want to do, how you want to set it up. I'm just showing you how I did it. I'm not saying mine is the holy grail of how it's done, but that is how I did it, and you decide what's right for you. Okay, the next category that we have is AI video editing. Now, content is the name of the game. We no longer live in a world where you can just make a song and release it, and everyone loses their mind, and everything's all good. That does not exist anymore. That's not a thing. You have to release a song, and you have to have a way to continually market that for a set amount of time. Some people do a week, some people do a month, some people do 6 months. And that's a personal choice of whatever you feel like is right for you. But you need a system so that when you release something, when you release a new song, music video, whatever it is, collab, remix, whatever, that you have a way to create content to promote that thing. All right. If you are just making one Instagram post about your content, it is going to get lost in the noise. There's just way too much content in that out there. So you need a way to do that. So for example, right now, when we release a podcast episode, I create, anywhere between 14 to 20 pieces of we call them micro content, right? I create like little slices, little chunks into reels. And I go and put that out on the internet. Now, that is how you do that. I obviously know that releasing a song is different than releasing a podcast. And, can you just cut a little snippet of the song? Can you, is that the same as cutting a little snippet of the podcast? So I understand the core differences between those two. However, what I use in my realm with DAW Nation, with Behind the DAW, is something called Opus Pro. It is incredible. So as you can see, again, I'm going to apply it to the podcast. I want you to see if you can apply it to your music somehow, okay? So Opus is actually just like insane. It allows you to take like a huge clip, like a YouTube video or a podcast or a music video, however you'd want to do that, and you put it in there, and through AI, it goes through and chops out little like hyper interesting segments that you can go and then post on whatever you want on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all the stuff, right? It has been incredibly helpful for us. It adds, emojis and captions and all that kind of stuff. And I cannot recommend it enough, right? So what does that mean for you? How does that look for you? That is a question that you have to answer for yourself. What I would do if I was you is I would say, okay, every time I release a song, I need to create X amount of content, 30 pieces of content, 10 pieces of content, 5 pieces of content, 15, whatever is right for you and your life. Then I would see what are the things out there that would allow me to do that, right? I would probably go research, all right, what are other people doing when they release a song? They have the little meters flashing, and they're kind of like going, they're dancing to their song. That's cool. Or they go and they show a real life application of where it's really awesome to listen to your song, in the gym, hiking, walking through the city, driving, in a park, like whatever fits, that's another category. Another category is just creating a visualizer. That's fine. You can do that. Another category is showing people your songs. Another category is just talking about your song or giving a specific insight into there. Another category is showing inside of the DAW. I know that's more producer centric. Showing inside of the DAW, a really cool thing about the song. That's totally valid as well. You could show comments about how it's affecting people. There are a lot of categories, and I'd highly encourage you to do a case study, to do some homework and figure out what are all the categories in which I can promote a song. What are all the pieces of content that I can create to promote a song. And then I would go, and to fulfill this category, which is some kind of AI video editing, I would go and look at what are the different softwares out there, the different tools out there that will allow me to create that content the fastest. That is what I would do. That is what we did, right? So we promote our stuff through little slices. It doesn't matter if we're talking about in the DAW, behind the DAW, courses, sales, like all that kind of stuff. The lifeblood of that is creating Reels, TikTok shorts, stuff like that. So what is the application of the tool for us that is going to help us the most? It was Opus. So this is totally a side tangent, and I know the vast majority of you will not do this. But if I was a full-time music producer, or if I was a budding music producer trying to make a career, what I would do is I'd start a podcast that is specific to my music, and then bring people on that is specific to that. So there are brands that are created that are specific to being sober. That's such a huge part of that, and so they can have that as part of their brand. It could be about the style of music that they are creating. It can be about creating worlds within inside of me, like whatever. I've brought up the concept before of Ronit. She's great. I love Ronit. So there's a very strong, at least in the past, I haven't kept up with it as much, so maybe this is outdated information. But in the past, it was specific about like witchcraft. And do we say witchiness? I don't know. But so she could create a podcast that's tethered to that and still promote her music through that. So that's what I would do, just because podcasts are one of the easiest ways to create content. You hop on in front of the camera, throw it through Opus Pro, and then all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of content that you can use to promote anything. You can invite some of your favorite producers on, or the people, or favorite artists, or fans, or whoever that really inspire you. Cut that out. You can put your new song, your new music into there, so on and so forth. It's a pretty easy thing to do. It's pretty low effort. And so that's what I would do. But that's kind of a side tangent. That's a side tip. So hopefully you can do that. So that is the second category, some kind of video editing software that helps you get content out faster. I'm not necessarily talking about like the base video editing stuff. Every producer needs Premiere. Everyone needs Final Cut. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what is some kind of software out there that pertains to video editing that helps you get stuff done faster. That's the concept that I'm talking about. So you can create content, put it out there. I virtually think that images are like dead now. I just don't see the data, not only from myself, but from people that I trust and different colleagues and stuff that know a lot more behind the scenes than I do about algorithms. But just like image-based stuff now is dying out, except for some very specific counter arguments to that. One of them I can think of is King of None. He's fantastic. He was an intern here and was an employee for a while. I love King of None. He's so good. So he's doing a strategy right now about getting art, like still images about his music and putting it like the final boss music and final boss track. I finally found Dubstep Fantasy or whatever, and he has images with that, and that's it. Like he just has that still image. It's still a reel. It's still a video, but he has that image and then his newest songs playing. And I think that's cool. I think that's great. It's still a reel. It's still a video. It's not just still image, but it's an interesting take of how to take a still image and still make that work in a video-based world. I found that very interesting. So find something like that. That's pretty cool. The next up thing that I have is, am I going to light the internet on fire with that? Is some kind of image generation. And so hear me out. Don't leave yet. I actually think that image generation, AI image generation actually has a very, 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 very important place. Even if you are on the side of the argument, it's stealing from artists, it's gross, it's AI slop. I don't want anything to do with that. Even if you're on that side, hear me out. Hear me out. All right. I've expressed before that I don't hold that sentiment. I can understand that, and I can understand the nuances of that, and how it's taking jobs away from graphic designers. And so I hold space for that. Hear me out, though. If you are going to be on the one end of the spectrum and use AI art, like literally just go and type a prompt into an AI image generator and use that as your cover art, because that's all you can afford, I think there has to be room for there, as long as you're using an appropriate one that's actually like trained legally, I guess is the term. And some people would counter that, would be like, well, no, there's nothing that's legal when it comes to training that. I disagree. I think there are some out there that are good, that are trained on stuff. But also, did you know that you can train them yourself? That's part of ChatGPT's thing. You can create Sora. You can create it through Sora, and you can feed it your own images so they can be trained on there. I think that's pretty cool. And so I guess that's one way around it. Anyways, so on the other end of the spectrum, if you're like, no, AI art has no way, maybe you can use it as just like idea generation. You're like, I really want this for my cover art, and I'm willing to I have the money and I have the resources to hire a graphic designer, but I don't know what to send them. I don't know what references to have. I don't even know what I'm looking for. And so you can go and you can use something like a Midjourney or like a Sora and have it give you ideas. So you can send over to your graphic designers, like, can you make something like this? But I would really like this, this, and that. So it allows you, it gives you something to use just to get ideas out there, so that you don't have to necessarily use them, but it helps you, especially for people like me. I have a really, really hard time seeing something in my mind without seeing it in person. Right? Like, I'll have an idea, but it's like, I don't know if I like this idea or this idea. I kind of like, I have to see like tangible examples of that. And so I would highly encourage something like a Sora. There was a huge update with Sora, and it's incredible. In fact, now whenever I release podcast episodes, what I will do is I will take a press shot. So I've actually built my own custom image generator inside of Sora based off of my own art. So I didn't know if a lot of people knew this. So I was like a soft graphic designer, especially with Donation. I learned a lot of that kind of stuff, making box arts and stuff, the different like arts that we've had throughout the years. And so I developed a style that I really, really liked. And so I fed that style into Sora and said, okay, I need cover arts whenever we release a new podcast episode, and I'd like it if you use these images that I, based off these images that I created. And so now I feed like a press photo into my own little custom Sora, and it pops out a cover art. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. So that's totally a way that you can do it. You could, I've heard of some people, they will hire graphic designers, and pay them, it's actually quite a substantial bit. And it's like, create me 10, 20, 30 pieces of art that are like this, and I'll pay you extra money to allow me to create a model based off of your art, right? So I'll pay you $1,000, and then I'm, with your knowledge, with your consent, I'm going to take that art and upload it into my own little model so that I can, so Sora can create images like that in the future. And as long as it's consensual, as long as the artist is okay with it, go for it. I don't see anything wrong with that. I know some people are going to have a hard time with that, and that's okay. You can. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm saying I don't see anything wrong with it right now. So bring up a counter argument, disagree with me, that's totally fine. I am willing to listen. But so that's something. But some kind of image generator, either to use it for promoting your own stuff, putting it out on Spotify. You need cover art for that kind of stuff, or Apple Music, so on, SoundCloud. You need some kind of image generator, either to put that onto the songs to release, or some kind of image generator to help you create some kind of picture board, so you can send to a graphic designer to know what to do. Also, Sora, you can upload an image of yourself and create an amazing press shot photo. It's so cool. So I could literally Smile right now, and screenshot that and upload it into Sora. And it's like, make me, in this really cool cyberpunk outfit, or make me, look like a fantasy character, whatever, right? Put me in all black, make me edgy, make me look like a protagonist of whatever movie. Like it's so cool. And so Sora is super, super amazing. Midjourney, it doesn't do as well with like actually keeping the small details of your face and so on and so forth. It kind of creates you into a whole new person. But that is something. So third category, right? Or let's review really quickly. First category, some kind of AI assistant that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can feed information to, that's specific to your business. You need something like that. Okay, so that's the first one. Second category, some kind of software, some kind of tool that can help you crank out videos faster. Third one, some kind of software, some kind of tool that can help you crank out images faster. For releasing songs, press photos, so on and so forth. You need something like that, okay? For your website, if you're still going to post images on social media, you need something like that. That's super important. The next category, am I going to light the internet on fire again? It's a very, very, very strong possibility. The next one is some kind of music AI tool. Now, again, hear me out. We did an episode with Underbelly, and we talked a lot about AI and how it relates to music producers. I think that is a very good episode. I still wholeheartedly support everything inside of that episode. There's nothing that I disagree with inside of that episode. One thing I would add to that episode, which I think maybe we did say this, but I can't remember. AI music production is incredible for ideation, for creating ideas. For you hearing things and being like, yes, I love that, or no, I don't love that. So one that I have used before is Suno. Meaning, when I say I've used it, I have tested it to see if my idea of this, of having it create something for ideation for people would work. And it totally does. Like, it's so cool. So you can go and be like, well, especially the way that I see it for production, for like sound arrangements, it's fine. For lyrics and for melodies, it's incredible. I was blown away at how good it was. It's not perfect. It's, Underbelly said, the people that just go and they type a prompt into Suno, into UDO, and then just literally download that and upload that into like Spotify and, they distribute that song. That's like, I'm not endorsing that at all. That's ridiculous. And I just don't think the quality is there. Could be one day, but it's just not there. But to say, here are my lyrics that I have. I really like these lyrics. I don't know how to make a hook out of it. I don't know how to make a top line out of it. I don't know the certain phrasing of how I want to phrase this. I don't know if this works or not. I don't know what kind of harmonies I want. Like all that kind of stuff. Something like a Suno is so easy to throw in your lyrics, type the strategy or the type of genre that you want, have like 10 different examples come out and be like, oh, I didn't think about, that's so catchy how it sings it right there. And then you yourself go sing it or hire someone to sing it. Like, it's so good for ideation. It's so good for you to throw this idea out to it and see how it interprets it. It's fantastic for that. So I think you should totally have something like that. Fourth category is some kind of AI music production software for ideation. For you to say, I'm really interested in this, and that. Let's get 10 different examples. I really like that, don't like that, I like that, I don't like that. Bam, you can go back into the DAW. You're so much more primed now to create songs faster. You know what you're looking for. You know how to get there. It's truly just an insane strategy to be able to have, to be able to throw ideas into an AI music production software, see what it comes up with, and then amalgamate that into something that is so wholly originally yours. Well, wholly originally, how do you define that? Anyways, so that's fourth category for AI music creation. Gotta have something like that. And then the final one actually has nothing to do with AI. This is a total pro hack that we have been using for years, and I highly encourage everyone to have something like this. Okay, this category is where you can go to get like an insane amount of graphic templates for your brand, for your music. So a lot of people see our box art, a lot of people see our logo reveals, our promos and stuff like that, and be like, oh my gosh, Wyatt or whoever he hires has to be like an After Effects genius, has to be like next level, in order to create that kind of stuff. That's a bunch of BS. That is not it. We just go to something like an Envato or a motion array, and we just get it from there. Now, if you're not familiar with either of those, so like, for example, if you take virtually any of our logo reveals, you look at the Serum Masterclass logo reveal, you look at the School Base logo, well, the School Base is actually, that was Austin, so never mind, because he is an After Effects genius. No, if you take something like a Cryo Masterclass, Golden Vocal System, anything like that, if you look at anything that we've done that's like, holy crap, that's super high quality, did they film that? Did they have to hire someone, spend thousands of dollars to create that kind of stuff? No. We go to something like an Envato. If you don't know how to spell that, that's ENVATO. And we pay a monthly, yeah, it is monthly, we pay yearly. But you pay a subscription, and you can find these different templates of logo reveals. And so you can just put your logo into there and create something. Yes, you need to be able to know like basic knowledge of like After Effects or Premiere Pro or Final Cut or whatever it is that you're downloading. But you can create amazing things like that. You can find audio visualizers. So, when we were talking earlier about the different types of content that you can create for to release a song, dude, you can go to Envato and find a whole bunch of templates that you can download and do this. Listen, we're music producers, we're musicians. Who cares if you're using templates for the visual side? Go download a logo reveal. Go download a box art. Go download whatever to help you promote your stuff. Who cares? This isn't made by AI. These are actual graphic designers that have made these templates, that are selling these templates for us to use. It's amazing, and it makes it go so much faster. Every time there's a launch, every time there's a promo, every time there's anything like that, and we release something that looks really cool, there's a big, reveal, there's a music video, whatever, for the product that we're releasing, it's all Envato. It is all, well, not all Envato. Sometimes we do hire graphic designers for very specific things, but when it comes to launches. But anyways, it's a huge game changer. And by the way, with all these things I just suggested, all these different categories, I am not sponsored by any of them. I am not even going to put a promo code for any. There's none of this nonsense, right? This is all stuff that I use on the daily, genuinely. And it does not benefit me one iota if you go and find your own thing or use the ones that I suggested. It is just me trying to share with you the best tools that I have used, that I have tried, that I love, that you can use for yourself too. So anyways, that was just a disclaimer. I probably should have said that from the beginning. My bad. And so, Envato, go check it out. I wish I could show this. I don't know if my screen recording my screen sharing is actually working. That's a whole other conversation. So anyways, Envato, incredible. There's all kinds of stuff. There's logos that you can download. There's press kits. There's different there's promos, packages that you can download and just input your logo or your cover art, and it creates a whole. It's sick. It's sick. It is so sick for someone who is not a graphic designer, who's not a video editor, who's not a VFX person. Go in there and find that kind of stuff to create, to help you create content in order to promote your song, your music. It's sick. It is so sick. It's sick. There, one thing that I think people could really, really like is there are templates in there to help you create music videos. So you can go record some snippets of whatever, and then it's like, cool, input your song here, input the little snippets of the video here, and it amalgamates it into, an actually fully fledged music video. Is it super good? I don't know. Depends. Mileage may vary, but it's just that kind of stuff. You can try Motion Array. I personally haven't tried Motion Array, but it's the exact same concept as Envato. I know there's some other ones out there. So fifth and final category is finding some kind of graphic video template site where you can go and find super high quality templates for logo reveals, music videos, visualizers, box arts, mock-ups, anything like that for your music. It just adds the professionalism to a whole new level on there. So let's go over all the 5 things that we talked about so far, and then we'll wrap up. So first category is some kind of AI assistant, right? custom GPTs, custom projects inside of ChatGPT, something like that, where you can feed information to your AI assistant that knows you, that knows your music, that knows what you're going for, that knows the different case studies that really resonate with you a lot, so on and so forth. You need something like that so you can bounce ideas off of very quickly, that can access a wider web, so it can go and research things if you need it, so on and so forth. Like, to me, that's like, if you walk away and you don't do anything else, that one is the one that should be non-negotiable moving forward, in my opinion, because it just, if any of you are anything like me, I get so caught up in my head, I get so overwhelmed, and so I need something in real time to spit out my ideas to, and have access, intimate knowledge to what I'm doing more than anyone else on earth, and be able to spit things back to me in real time as fast as I need, any time of the day. And so, to me, that should be non-negotiable at this point, or at least it's non-negotiable to me. Second category is some kind of AI video editing. I mentioned Opus Clip, but it's what is your content strategy for your music? Go find an AI or software tool, whatever, that helps you create more of that content to promote your music. That's the name of the game right now. The more content that you can create, the more you can put out, the better. So the third category, it's very similar to the second one with images, but the third one is with the third category has to do with image generation. Some kind of software that helps you get your artwork out faster, whether that's you literally typing in a prompt, using that artwork on your song, or typing in a prompt and having it giving you ideas so that you can go create your art, so you can hire someone to create your art even faster. Okay, so that's the third category. The fourth category is the same concept, except with music, Asuno and Udio. I know that there's a lot of other AI. I see ads all the time for like AI vocal generators. I don't think they're very good. I don't know. Is that a hot take? Maybe I'm biased because I worked with Matthew Steeper and saw his golden vocal system strategy, and like, he does the best vocals ever. And so I'm biased, but what I'm saying is some kind of AI music production software that helps you ideate even faster. I'm not saying you have to use that stuff. I'm not saying you have to like all that stuff, but something that you can put out, or something that you can input a prompt to, that can help generate ideas for melody, for sound design, for structure, for whatever, so that you can bring it back into your DAW and work even faster and crank stuff out even faster. You don't even have to bring like the actual audio files into the DAW. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, oh, you like this idea, you like this melody, then you go input that into your DAW with whatever synth or instrument that you want, and so on and so forth. And then the fifth and final category is something like an Envato. It is a giant library of graphic templates, of video templates, of whatever, mock-up templates, of all that kind of stuff, so that you can go, whenever you release a song, you're promoting something, whatever, you can go there and leverage something inside of there, so that you can take the presentation, the packaging of your songs to the next level. It's fantastic. So those are my 5 that are there. And that brings this episode to an end. Now, I am about to record another episode, which is going to be coming out next week. Again, right now, I'm in the hospital with my brand new little baby. I'm going to be recording another episode, so make sure to check out that episode next week when it drops. That is where I'm going to be answering a whole bunch of questions that were sent to me from Discord and from different various social medias. And so that's going to be much more of what are your questions. I'm going to be answering that next week, going deep into that. I'm sure we're going to be covering things like music business and marketing, maybe some more AI stuff. I'm not sure, but make sure to check that out. But remember, School Base 1.5 is live. You can go check that out. It's absolutely fantastic. And then also make sure to grab the free download. It's down in the description, which is the Heat sample pack from AU5. You can grab that over at dawnnation.net/heat. Make sure to subscribe, leave comments. I love comments, especially on Spotify. I love being able to see that comments on individual podcast episodes. That's pretty cool. I love DMs. I love when you guys tag me on Instagram stories. If there's anything about this episode that really resonated with you, that was really, really helpful, I would love to know. Remember, I'm in this studio in St. George, Utah, all by myself. I am disconnected with you. I don't know if this helps you unless you tell me. So please let me know. With that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Question mark? Coming in the next episode. See ya.